Doom is my favorite first-person shooter, so naturally it's taken me over a year since its sequel came out to finally play it. Well, better late than never. Let's see if Doom Eternal can beat out Doom to become my favorite first-person shooter. The game opens up with a really hype intro cutscene explaining how Earth was taken over by demons, and it's up to Doom Guy to save it.
Oh, baby!
There's way more story here than in Doom 2016 with actual story cutscenes and a deeper plot, but who plays Doom games for the story anyways? If anything, it's just there to explain why you have to kill demons this time around and pace out the gameplay a bit. Once you're in the game, you get straight into the Doomslayer action, going from room to room killing demons. The gunplay and movement is unmatched. There's just nothing like running and gunning around arenas full of Doom's enemies. Like the first game, there are glory kills. These occur when you deal enough damage to an enemy, causing them to be staggered. Then when you rip them apart, they drop health. This is one of Doom's best mechanics because it incentivizes you to stay in the fight. If you're low on health, you still have to be aggressive and try to get glory kills to gain more health back since it doesn't regenerate on its own. Getting glory kills also fuels one of your new moves, Blood Punch. It's a passive ability that does a powerful melee AoE attack. Around combat arenas, you'll find ammo, health, shield, and gas pickups. You have to make use of the entire arena to keep your weapons and abilities stocked and to keep your health and shield topped off. There's a few new additions to Doom Eternal's movement design to help you get around as well. Now you can double jump and double dash your way through environments. The dash especially makes combat even more fast-paced and engaging since you can dash away from attacks or close in quickly on enemies for glory kills.
Gotcha, bitch!
The game also throws in more platforming and some light puzzle platforming sections that make use of your new movement. These helped the pacing a bit as they were slower, allowing you to breathe between fights and explore the map for collectibles and upgrades. The arena designs have varied terrain and platforms, so if you want to dodge enemies, you'll have to use your dashes and jumps along with the environmental elements. Many of the same enemies from Doom 2016 are here as well, with some new additions, which is great because the enemy design is excellent. New enemies are introduced regularly, which makes the game even more chaotic and layered as you progress. The game may look mindless, but you're constantly calculating which enemies to kill, all while avoiding attacks and managing your ammo. I love how the enemy's flesh will fall off their body as your bullets hit them. It makes the weapons feel that much more impactful while also serving as a useful way to gauge the enemy's health. You have a chainsaw ability that kills enemies in one hit if you have enough chainsaw fuel. This will cause enemies to drop a ton of ammo for most of your weapons.
You're ugly?
There's the easy fodder type enemies that are really just there as easy targets to glory kill and chainsaw for some extra health and ammo. Then there's the harder enemies known as heavy and super heavy, which you have to be way more cautious of. New to Doom Eternal is the Flame Belch, which is on a cooldown and is used to burn enemies, causing them to drop shield. Kill an enemy that's on fire and they explode with shield drops. You have a new grenade launcher weapon, also on a cooldown timer, that has a useful ice variant to freeze enemies in place.
Nice to see you.
I don't know if this is just a me problem or not, but I'd often forget about certain abilities early on in my playthrough and rarely use them. I did make use of them later on though, as they became more necessary to succeed. You can find these upgrade pods in levels that let you choose a mod for one of your weapons. The weapon mods can then be further upgraded with weapon points you acquire from combat and combat challenges. These come from completing a variety of mission challenges as well as just general progression, and are used to upgrade your abilities and suit. All this choice allows for more freedom in how you want to play the game at the cost of being more complex. There were so many text boxes I had to read through to understand all of these new systems and abilities, especially at the beginning of the game.
It's time to stop!
Managing ammo is a much bigger deal in Doom Eternal than it was in Doom. Each gun doesn't hold a lot of ammo, so you might go through multiple guns in a single fight, even with ammo pickups and the chainsaw ability. I really enjoyed this because it forces you to get good with all of your weapons as opposed to just sticking with one or two of your favorites. All of the guns feel very distinct from one another, not only because of their attack style, but because they're unique weapon mods that each specialize in different areas.
It's over 9,000!
There's even the sword that one-hit kills enemies if you have enough charges for it. Some enemies now have weak points that can be better targeted with a specific weapon. I was a bit torn on this mechanic because it does encourage you to switch weapons, but also encourages you to defeat the enemy in the same way over and over again because it is the most effective. After every level, you go back to your ship. It acts as a hub area and actually has exploratory secrets of its own, along with some upgrades you can unlock. The environmental designs are actually quite varied. Of course, there's the blood and guts covered hellish environments, but there's also more traditional environments that fit well with the story. Everything is very detailed and the organic set design is disgustingly realistic. Hidden around levels are various collectibles. The collectibles aren't necessary but do reward players who are willing to explore their surroundings. There's several boss fights in the game that are a welcome challenge, each bringing something new to test your skills. Bosses like the Marauder even show up as standard enemies later on, which scales the difficulty nicely in conjunction with your weapon and Praetor Suit upgrades. The Praetor Suit is upgraded with these crystals that give you a passive buff and increase your ammo, health, or shield permanently. The music during boss fights is amazingly intense. Even during regular combat, the soundtrack just makes you want to play fast. The weapons and sound effects sell the weightiness of attacks well, so ripping demons apart and constantly shooting never gets old. Doom Eternal does everything a sequel should do. There's more enemies, you can now upgrade your suit, abilities, and weapon mods, and the environments are generally larger to better utilize your new movement mechanics. When you're jumping and dashing around arenas figuring out which demons to kill, Doom Eternal is at its best. It takes a while to get used to all of your new abilities, but once you do, the game clicks into place and stays there. All of these new mechanics both enhance and detract from what I loved so much about Doom 2016. The core of Doom has always been about fast-paced yet strategic gunplay, which Doom Eternal pulls off really well, but there was something simple and pure about Doom 2016 that just can't exist in Doom Eternal because there's so many new mechanics and upgrade paths. The new movement and enemies are a great addition, but some of the extraneous systems blurs the carefully crafted core the game wants you to experience. But that still doesn't stop Doom Eternal from having one of the best first-person shooter campaigns out there.